reignition.
Hey BC, what's up? It's me, yours truly. I am back to post a quick video here. Two simple things we're going to do today. Going to give some huge VCLT thanks to a number of people that sent over some really cool stuff, and then also just kind of do some recent finds. So kind of 1-2 right to the point. Yeah, so let's just kind of jump right into it. And definitely going to start off with the VCLT. And the first person I would like to give a big thanks to is the one and only Billy Craone. Those of you that have been here in the VC for quite some time, you know, you guys definitely know Billy, 80s music junkie, probably the one guy in the VC that I know truly loves the 80s more than me, which I didn't even know was possible, but you definitely have to give the nod to Billy on that one. But he sent me over some really cool stuff that wasn't vinyl, actually. It was a 500-piece puzzles, I should say. One was the Ramones' Road to Run, which was kind of cool. Of course, you guys know that album and know that album cover. So again, a very neat 500-piece puzzle. I'm actually kind of fretting even thinking about trying to put this one together, but Elton John, Captain Fantastic, the amount of detail in that thing, you know that's going to be a mind bender there. And the one I've actually been working on that I'm probably about 3/4 of the way done with now is this one here, which is Queen, A Night at the Opera. And of course, what's taking up the time, you know, I flew through all of this, but all that white trim is just driving me crazy. So yeah, but yes, it's been really cool, Billy. I really appreciate you sending it over. You know, I haven't done puzzles in, gosh, years and years and years. So even when I first got them, I didn't know when I would jump on or, you know, try to put them together and that type of thing. But it's one of those things where once you start, it just really gets you kind of laser focused. And so I've really been enjoying it. So thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you sending those over. And as soon as I get them done, I'm going to, you know, frame them all, get them up on the wall and all that great stuff as well. So yeah, BC, as always, man, thanks for thinking about me. Really appreciate it. And some really cool gifts there. So thank you very much. Another piece of VCLT I want to give some big thanks to is Logan over at Swellheads Network. He just contacted me out of the blue and said he had something for me that he thought I would really like, and he was right. And so I really appreciate, Logan, you thinking about me too, man, and taking the time, you know, effort, spending your money to send something over. And it was really awesome. And this is what he thought enough about me to send over, which is a Tanya Tucker Live from the Troubadour, one of her albums I'd never heard of. So it was definitely cool to kind of discover something new, and just don't skip over the fact that it's autographed, which is also really cool. I think maybe she was most well known for Delta Dawn. Maybe that was probably her biggest hit, I think. But you know, she's been around for a long time, you know, kind of falling on that country pop line, that type of thing. But it's definitely kind of a legend. And just really a nice, cool 4 LP set or 2 LP set of just the live performance there. She also does a really cool melody on here with Bruce Springsteen's I'm on Fire and Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire, which might have been kind of my favorite part of the album. But one more neat thing about it that I wanted to share was the fact that it was on kind of like a clear splattered vinyl, which I wasn't expecting when I first opened it. But yes, sounds really cool. You know, it's just a great, just kind of live. I mean, the Troubadours, you know, that's a decent sized little club or whatever, but it just kind of sounds like a really intimate gig with her just being herself and, you know, thanking so many people that had helped her along the way. And you know, she rants and raves about Belinda Carlisle a number of times. throughout the album, that type of thing. So it really makes you kind of feel like you were there for the experience, which is kind of cool. So yeah, Logan, thank you so much for thinking about me, man. That's an awesome piece to add to the collection, going right over into the autograph section, which is really, really cool. So thanks a lot, man. I so appreciate that. 2 other pieces of VCLT that I want to show. Actually, I'm going to show one after I show an album, because it'll kind of make more sense. But one other piece that I want to show here is my friend Liz, my best friend Liz, who's a photographer and, just very creative and that type of thing. Well, I've been telling her forever how I wanted one of those Metal Evolution family trees. Those of you that have seen the series, you kind of know how it shows the evolution of metal and where certain genres came from, and then more specifically the bands within that genre that kind of, brought it, made it, established it, represents what it is, that type of thing. But I don't know if there was ever an official poster that was made off of that, which I can't for the life of me understand why. That would be probably one of the best posters in all of musical history, quite frankly. But what she did was she, put together these 4 prints, which I'm going to take and, get cut and matted and everything. And of course, once they do, everything will line up and I will have the Metal Evolution family tree, which will be really, really cool. So I can't wait to show you that once it's completed, but I've wanted that for so long. So the fact that she got those done and got everything lined up for me is really, really awesome. So again, there's one more VCLT, but I'm going to show you that after I show you one of the new albums that I got, so to make more sense that way. But actually, before I do that, one CD I did, or I guess 3 CDs I picked up. I always pick up a bunch of CDs. I just don't show them as much in my videos. But finding stuff for $2, $3, $4 here and there, it's hard not to pick up a ton of CDs now. But I did pick up a copy of Napalm Death's Scum, which I've been wanting on CD for a long time now. So that was nice to finally get a copy of that. I don't know why I wanted to show this, but maybe because I like him. Tim McGraw, Live Like You're Dying. One of my favorite country singers. I love Tim. And for 99 cents, brand new copy of U2, which is pretty cool. So, oh well, we'll pick it up in a minute. Drop the CDs, not the vinyl. Alright, so one of the albums that I want to show before I show this other piece of VCLT, you guys might have heard me rant and rave about this 1 or 2, 10, 15 times over the past month or two, which we're going back to this thing, Bruce Springsteen, Western Stars. I think in my last couple of videos I've probably talked about it in 2 or 3 of them, but yeah, I've just so fallen in love with this album over the past past couple months. Every time I listen to it, it just goes to another level. But what this is Bruce Springsteen did a kind of a film. I think it was on HBO or Netflix. I think it was on HBO, because I think I DVR'd it or something. But yeah, where he basically does a live performance in this little barn. He does a live performance of the album. Well, this is just the songs from the film. The way he did it in the film. So you have the studio album version and you have this version here, which is kind of nice because they aren't very different. Like most people, if they just listen to the album for the first time and listen to both of them, they would say it's the exact same thing. But once you really get to know the songs, you can recognize the subtle differences between the film version and the studio album version. But yeah, I definitely had to pick up a copy of this because, whichever way this album is performed, I absolutely love it. So it's nice to get the film version. But I still cannot speak highly enough about that album. And the other piece of VCLT that I wanted to share was, again, I've been yapping about that. I introduced a friend to that album not too long ago, and it was the first time they had heard it, and was just absolutely blown away. Like it was just moving from the first time they went through it, especially the song Chasing Wild Horses. They just really felt it, and to the point where they fell so in love with it, and me ranting and raving about it, they actually just went and had this made and sent to me as kind of a gift. which is a I forget, what's the technical name you use for these printouts or whatever, but it's the song "Chasing Wild Horses." I mean, that's pretty cool. Some very vivid, vibrant colors there. But yeah, so that was a really, really cool piece as well. You know, an awesome gift. And yeah, just like with when I take the Metal Evolution to get that put on the poster board or whatever, I'm gonna do the same thing with this. And both of these will be up on my wall very, very soon. So another awesome, awesome piece of VCLT there. And both of those members with the prints and everything are not VC members, so it wouldn't be anyone that you guys know. But they know who they are, and thank you very, very much. So moving right along, let's kind of get into the recent finds here. And we'll just kind of fly through most of these. A lot of random stuff as always. I mean, you guys know how I do, I guess. So let's start off here with S&M 2. Which Metallica just put out here not too long ago. I mean, well, 2020, so. But I haven't actually listened to all of this yet. Matter of fact, I haven't even opened this yet. I've only listened to a few songs that were online right before I picked it up. But I went ahead and grabbed a copy of it at the store the other day. 4LP, orange vinyl. We'll kind of see how the rest of it is. But it's I think kind of just pretty much like the first S&M, just some different tracks and that type of thing. But this is actually one too that I might just keep sealed. My copy of S&M is still sealed as well because I'm just very comfortable and very happy with listening to that on CD. And I might kind of just do the same thing with this, just keep it sealed and grab the CD because those aren't that expensive at all, and just kind of go from there. But always like to grab these pieces because you never know. Well, number one, I'm kind of a completist when it comes to my Metallica collection. Excuse me. And number two, you never know when those things are going to shoot up and become grails overnight. And it's like, damn it, I wish I would have got one, or I wish I would have blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so moving right along. This is kind of an interesting Metallica piece. This is Metallica, a Seattle 89, Volume 1. Seattle 89, as most of you Metallica fans know, was just kind of that legendary, I think it was on the Injustice Tour concert that Metallica did up in Seattle, which was, number one, definitely Metallica at their peak. I mean, it was still like that they had just gotten so tight. Like, they were so tight, they had so kind of come into their own, but at the same time, they still sounded and felt like they had that hunger kind of thing. And so that concert was just a beast. And to get a feel of it, if you haven't heard it or not familiar with it, just go look up Seattle 89 Master of Puppets here on YouTube and just watch that video. And that'll give you a clear feel for just how that freaking concert was a beast. But this is actually an unofficial press of that, which just came out. And I guess there's going to be a volume 2, I assume. But yeah, it has Ecstasy of Gold, Blackened, For Whom the Bells Toll, Welcome Home, Harvester of Sorrow, The Four Horsemen, The Thing That Should Not Be, the bass solo, to Live Is to Die, Master of Puppets, and Fade to Black. Just to give you an idea what tracks are on there. And we did listen to it the other day, and it sounds pretty good. I mean, it sounds like the live concert, so it's definitely worth the buy in that regard. And the thing I really love about it too, I mean, of course, it's an unofficial press. I love that cover. I think Metallica has kind of been around so long, and they're so big, and they are the beast that is Metallica, that every time they do something now, it almost becomes a, let's see how complex we can make this, that, and blah, blah, blah. And something about going back to just like that plain skull there with just Metallica written in block print. It's one of my favorite Metallica covers in I don't know how long. It's a 2 LP set, and even going into, or not saying going into, but looking at the label, I remember seeing it on the turntable the other day, and I thought, that is just freaking awesome. Love it. So, another very cool piece. I mean, for someone who's never been into bootlegs or unofficial presses on vinyl, This is the second one I've picked up in the past like 2 months, 2 or 3 months. So, and then we go right from Metallica to Karen Blake. Aww. But yeah, this is Karen. Just One Heart, a nice MoFi pressing. Again, this is probably an artist. I'd be curious to know, who's familiar with her, who likes her or not. Not a gigantic name, not a gigantic album or anything, but she just kind of has an 80s feel to her that I kind of like. This is one of those albums that kind of feels good to listen to, more so than even saying like all these songs are so fantastic kind of thing. But yeah, when I found a nice MoFi pressing of that, it was only like $8 or something. I was like, heck yeah. So that's Karen. Now, she does a really nice cover of the Jackson 5, I Want You Back, and a couple other things on here, but definitely kind of a guilty pleasure there. And then we have a very cool quadraphonic pressing of the Edgar Winter Group. They Only Come Out at Night. Definitely my favorite album by him. Frankenstein, all that great stuff. But yeah, really, really cool album. And one of the first quadraphonic presses that I've had. I've stumbled across them a number of times, but it just seems like they're always, really beat up and in a really bad condition. There was one Sly and the Family Stone Greatest Hits at a local store that was a quadraphonic pressing that I wanted so bad, but it was just too beat up, and really wanted that one. But yeah, so another great pickup there. And then we go over to a little Parliament, Up for the Downstroke. This is their, I think, 1972 album. Is that right? No, 74. This is a 2019. It's a reissue, but yeah, just adding a little more to the funk collection. And Parliament doing their funk thing. Sunra and his orchestra, and this is Thunder of the Gods. And he has so many albums out and so much weird, freaky stuff. The dude, I don't know what he was smoking. But I love his stuff, and this is definitely more on the free jazz side of things. Pressed on red vinyl there, but yeah, I love when he gets into that experimental, just strange, and this album is definitely right up that alley. And then we'll go from Sunra to Little Black Sabbath. This is Dehumanizer. The 2 LP expanded edition that just came out in 2019, was it? Yeah, 2019. Definitely nice that they're getting this album back out there more. I was lucky enough to pick up one of the Rhino reissues when they first came out. It was like they were like $22.99 when they first came out, and then a year or two later, the things just skyrocketed like $150, $200 a piece. But it was nice for them to come back in and do a reissue and a deluxe. So there's a couple extra bonus tracks on here and all that good stuff. So nice to add that to the collection. Then we head to Ma Rainey. Sure, this is probably an artist that you guys have known for quite some time, but I just discovered her. Like, we're talking a month or so ago. And actually it was because a friend of mine had me watch this movie, and I forgot the name of it. I think it's on Netflix, but it was basically about her and her band. I can't remember the name of the movie. It did have the guy, I'm horrible with actors and actresses' names, but the is it Ibris guy or whatever his name? No, not Ibris. The guy that played Black Panther. He was in it, and it was just kind of a story about her and just all the stuff surrounding her band, herself, her life, and all that. But it was really, really good. It was kind of a play that was turned into a movie, so it kind of goes as a play. You get that sense when you're watching it. A lot of dialogue, all in one setting, that type of thing. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. Early recordings of some of the blues that she was doing. I think 30s, something like that. 30s or 40s, somewhere in there. But really, really cool stuff. And just very raw. This is one of those albums that you put on and it goes back to sounding like a band, her and the band were just singing into a tin can kind of thing. But nice to actually discover her. Next we have Asabissa, I think is how you pronounce that. This is their album Heads. A band that I had heard about but had just never really gotten any of their pieces or really discovered them. And I stumbled across this the other day. But it's just kind of an Afro-funk type of thing. You know, funk music mixed in with the, well, Afro-funk, just like it sounds. So really cool piece. Not a very expensive album either, which is kind of cool. So definitely a nice one to dive into with them. And of course, you got to love that cover art. It's really awesome. I did show this in my tag video. This is one of the newest albums that I purchased, which is Jermaine Stewart. Say It Again. One of my favorite pop stars from back there in the 80s. You know, I think kind of started out with dancing and singing background for Culture Club, and then, you know, had three solo albums, I believe. And this is one I just hadn't had a chance to pick up yet. Say It Again, definitely my favorite track off of this. But, you know, yeah, make sure you check him out because he is awesome. If you don't know him, some great tracks to check out on him is not only Say It Again, but, you know, We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off is one that everyone kind of knows. The Word Is Out, that's another great track by him as well. And it's a good addition to the Motown collection. This is Mary Wells' Greatest Hits. Love finding these things in great condition, because they are kind of everywhere with these greatest hits. But of course, they're typically always beat up, you know. So finding near mint copies of these are always fantastic. And, you know, Mary Wells, again, another Motown legend, you know, Two Lovers, My Guy, all kinds of stuff there. So another great album there. That was a really fun one to listen to as well. I love throwing on Motown stuff. It really takes you back to kind of an incredible time. And the last ones here, I'll just kind of flash really quick because you've heard me ranting and raving about this as well, maybe just as much as the Western Stars, but the 75th anniversary Abbey Road Studios half-speed remasters of all of the Bob Marley stuff that they've reissued. Some of the best sounding albums that I've heard in quite some time. And so I'm trying to pick up all of those. And I think right now I only need Live and one other one. Yeah, I think there's two more that I need. I'm not sure I'm going to get Legend. I'm just not as, I guess, excited about getting that, but they did do a half-speed remaster on that as well. But, so kind of working towards completing that collection. You got Confrontation here. So love that artwork, of course, which is really awesome there. So that was a great addition. Then you got Survival. And probably one of my favorite covers of all the Marley and Wailer stuff, which is Uprising. And Natty Dread. And last but not least, the one and only Exodus. So very cool to get right to the point of getting all the half-speed remaster issues of this Marley stuff, because it sounds absolutely fantastic. And I did have someone ask me just a day or two ago, you know, because I've been kind of going on and on about these, and they were like, oh, so yeah, maybe I'll pick one up. Like, which one do you think I should get? Which album's a better album? And it's really kind of hard to say because all of the Marleys are so consistently good in getting the feel of just what Marley and the Wailers do. You can't go wrong with picking up any of the Marley albums. But if you're only going to have maybe one, you know, definitely the half-speed remaster of Legend, I think, would be the best album to pick up. If you're going to go one beyond that, I definitely recommend Babylon Bus. I think is probably the best one to have. But again, just as far as the music itself goes, all those albums are just so consistently good. It's Bob. I mean, come on. But yeah. So those are all the recent finds. Just kind of a hodgepodge of different things. And again, a big thanks to everyone for the VCLT, not only thinking about me, but taking the time, the effort, the money that you spent and everything else to share that stuff. It's just absolutely amazing. So cannot thank you guys enough for adding to the madness for me. I appreciate it. So yeah, as always, VC, let me know what you think, and we will talk to you soon. All right, take care, guys.